Joining me to discuss the week ahead for financial markets is Senior Economist Carsten Brzeski at ING in Brussels. Good afternoon, Carsten. Now, before we go on to discuss in more detail perhaps some of the major talking points in financial markets next week, in your opinion, what looks set to be causing the most volatility next week in terms of expected news releases and data?
I think it's a lot will be on politics because we have the French elections and the Greek elections on Sunday. So I guess that the results and digesting the results will keep financial markets busy. Moreover, on the economic data front, we're going to have a couple of data coming out of Germany where we should get more evidence on whether or not the German economy entered a technical recession in the first quarter of the year.
In regards to the Greek parliamentary elections and, of course, the French presidential election runoff on Sunday, how do you think the result will affect the FX market? And do you think the markets have already priced in the potential results?
The potential results, I think, are still too open to be priced in markets. The Greek elections probably could have an impact short term, while the French elections might have a bigger impact on the medium term for markets and the Eurozone. If you look at the Greek elections, clearly if, let's say, the new or a new Greek government would consist of parties that didn't sign the bailout program, we get new tensions on markets, new speculations on whether or not the Greek government would stick to the bailout package. In the French elections, they could have a medium-term impact on the crisis management of the Eurozone because we see more and more that the focus is shifting towards growth, away from austerity measures. And here it will be very interesting to see how a new French president would act at the European level.
Moving on to discuss the British economy, with the Eurozone and its own economy in recession, do you think quantitative easing has been the right strategy and boost the UK needed? And more so, do you think more QE is on the cards when it decides on policy next week?
If you see that the British economy also shrank in the first quarter of the year, I think it's hard to say that QE did the trick. More might be in the offing, but I think not right now. If you listen to the Bank of England, it is clearly right now it's on hold. Inflation is high, so right now no reason for more QE, but more could come if the British economy turns out to be in a recession for longer than currently expected.
What about the ECB? Do you see any more anti-crisis fighting measures up its sleeve in the near term?
We just had Mario Draghi clearly saying that right now more ECB action is not in the cards. It will be now up to politicians to again really do their structural homework, try to reform economies, try to implement austerity measures. If they do this, then I think the ECB stands ready to again be the first line of defense with probably more non-standard liquidity measures, and if need really be even with further rate changes. But right now it's not in the cards.
Towards the end of the week, a fair amount of Chinese data comes out, including April's inflation figure. Now, in March, Chinese inflation edged up to 3.6%. There's a lot of mixed signals regarding the state of China's economy at the moment, and this China slowdown has got markets uneasy. So, what is your outlook for the Chinese economy in 2012, especially in terms of inflation and growth?
We are becoming more cautious because there's more and more evidence that there is clearly excess supply in the real estate market, and that we might see a correction of the real estate market. If this was really to materialize, then the Chinese economy would slow down much further. Right now, we're still thinking of growth of around 8%, but I think here the risks are clearly to the downside.
Thank you very much for that, Carsten. So there we have it, ING Senior Economist Carsten Brzeski on the week ahead for financial markets. Now that's all for the moment on DukascopyTV, but have a lovely weekend and I'll see you next week. Goodbye for now.